Cryptids, Crypts and Coffee.
Yay!
Where today we talk about one of our favourite books. I haven't even got the dust jacket on mine, so it looks really awful. Blood and Rain. It's my signed copy as well, to my #1 fan. Ah.
Oh no.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Who is this? How did you get my number?
Yeah. Who is this? Don't you know who I am?
Yes. Hi,
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Yep, we're okay. It's lunchtime here, so we're all right.
It's coffee time here, for real.
Yeah.
Me.
Good.
Good.
Right. We think we're recording. Lou, is it still saying recording?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's saying recording.
All right. I'm just trying to get my cord straightened out here because I forgot to plug it in before I went to bed. It's got good energy in it, but I don't know if it's gonna die on me.
Yeah,
Probably.
I've got about 45 minutes and I'm not near a plug.
Oh. Well, I'm on my laptop, so that's all right.
It's a race against time.
Okay, so we've got no idea how we're going to do this. We're just going to ramble and ask you questions. So is that okay?
That works.
Okay, right. I made just a few notes. Should we do some questions while we've got you? Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, so I'll start the question then, if that's all right. Okay, so my first question is, you mention the Bruton Inn and its ghosts. Had you already written the haunted halls, or did that idea stem from your reference?
Yeah, it's funny. It's Blood and Rain was the first book I wrote, but the Haunted Halls came out first.
Yeah.
Originally, the first real version of the Haunted Halls, I was trying to do like a serial novel, and I cut it into 6 parts, and I was putting it out before I was finished with it. So I was putting it up on Amazon, doing self-publishing it, which I had no right to do, but and there was some really funny mistakes that I made along the way. I know a Mustang is a Ford Mustang, but I put Chevy Mustang just because I used to write that book in the middle of the night while I was doing my night audits at the hotel that I worked at.
Mm.
And so anyways, I get off track already. I wrote that book. I wrote The Haunted Halls after the original Blood and Rain, but then when I was getting ready to let Don Doria look at Blood and Rain for Sam Hain, he'd already seen it before and he passed on it, but he told me, send me whatever you do next. And so I sold him Abrams Bridge and Boomtown, and then I said, hey Don, I've reworked the werewolf book, I think we should try this again. And he said, yeah, send it over. And at that, I think I just told the story with John Everson, but
Yes.
But yeah, I had to rewrite it because I told Don I had already done this and I hadn't done it yet. So I jumped in and I started rewriting things, and I can't remember where I mentioned that because it's been a while since I wrote it, but I know that part was after I'd already written The Haunted Hall, so I kind of pulled it into this universe. It's not in the original draft. I'd like to put that original draft out and let everyone laugh at it. That'd be pretty good.
Is Hollis Oaks a real place, or is that somewhere that you've just created? Because obviously it comes up in a few of the books.
Yeah, that's also fake. Yeah, that. Yeah, I like to do that because I don't want people. Most of the time, Old Orchard Beach is a different story, but most of the time it gives me more freedom when I'm creating the story or whatever, the towns. I don't have to worry about someone saying, hey, that's not there, this isn't there. So I just make one up, give it a lot of the characteristics of whatever town you're kind of thinking of. and do that.
You can't
That's
get
why
it
I like.
wrong then.
No, you can't, right? No one's gonna call you out on it.
That's it. You own that town. You can do what you like. And it gets a nod
right.
in my novella, which I obviously asked you if I could do. So, yep. Yep. My character in the novella goes up to Hollis Oaks. So that's cool.
Cool.
Thank you. Okay, Lou?
Which one shall I go with first? Oh, I'm going to go with my crazy one. So, picture the scene. You're walking across the moors. It's the middle of the night. Fog's rolling in. And you're attacked by a wolf-like beast. The next day, you realise that you're changing. You're a werewolf now. Now there's the important question. Who do you eat first?
Oh my Lord, who do I eat first? Well, I live in a town where there's a lot of signs up on lawns right now for a certain guy that's president. So I'd probably start with those people first.
Yay.
Yeah, get a Trump sign, good time. Absolutely, that's my answer. Trumpers.
So that's a sign saying, eat me.
That sign says eat me. Yeah, it really does too, in a way.
Awesome. Okay. So I did just watch the video that you did with John. And obviously you talked about Blood and Rain in that, and you said that you swapped a kill at the end of the story because a buddy had beta read it and suggested that you do that. So my question is, who was meant to get that kill at the end in your original? Was it Sonia? Was it Dwayne?
Yeah, Sonia got it.
Sonia
got it. Yeah, because her father was too injured. I thought, and that's why. And I don't really want to. I kind of get nervous talking about endings in case someone's watching this that hasn't read the book.
Okay, yeah.
But,
Spoilers.
Put a big spoiler note.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was originally Sonia because I just felt like I thought she needed to do it, and then my buddy was like, yeah, but the sheriff's done all this work. He's been through all this stuff through the whole book. You should. I'm like, but he's got one arm. I guess. Well, I said, if it's like a B movie type thing, he could do it with one arm. If the blade was sharp enough and he was true enough. I don't know. It still doesn't sit right. I'd rather have it be Sonya. So like John said, maybe someday I'll put out a special edition author cut or something of it, because I've got other stuff that I cut out that I just thought was like, I'd go into relationships a little more and stuff in the book. And for me, I like to streamline things, so I kind of took some of that stuff out. I mean, it'd be interesting to go back and see what would work back in the story. Not worried about what other people might think. Not worried about trying to sell the book, but actually just have the full story in there. I mean, it's pretty close to the full story anyways, but I mean, there's just some a little more character development, I guess.
That would be cool. Definitely. You could do it for your patrons. That would be awesome.
That's an idea right there.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
I don't have enough projects to work on right now, so that would no. I have all kinds of ideas and stuff I could work on, but it's like getting to them all is time is the issue,
Yes.
But that would be fun.
The most important thing is waiting for darkness. That is the most important thing that you're working on. Yes. Okay, Lou.
Let me just consult my notebook. So how did you picture the werewolves when you were writing them? Were you going for like a wolfman kind of thing, or a dog soldiers kind of thing?
It's weird, I just think I was thinking like there's a description in there, something about being like the Incredible Hulk, but with, this black fur, this beastly, so kind of, a good mix of man and wolf. But I wanted I know in Blood and Rain when I did that werewolf, I wanted it to be huge, like just intimidating, not just tall, but like muscular too. I don't remember, like I said, it's been a while since I wrote it, but I know that was my picture in my mind. was I've been probably more like the Incredible Hulk from TV that I used to watch back in the day. Not this
Lou
giant.
Ferrigno.
Interesting. Yeah, Lou Ferrigno, is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Cool.
really big, but not impossibly big, but yeah.
Awesome.
It's like a wolf that's been down the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question would be, I know that you like to play around with lore, like you did in Until Summer Comes Around as well, so that you use some familiar tropes and cliches, but you make up some of your own stuff as well. Was there anything in Blood and Rain? Did you have any ideas for the lore that didn't make the cut? So something that you had originally thought, oh, that would be good for mine, but then you didn't end up using it.
You mean in way like the laws of vampires or something?
Yeah, so lore as in LORE. So wait, like, so no, like obviously Until Summer Comes Around, you've got the vampires can walk around in the daytime, and then in Blood and Rain, you've got that they can change at any time. Doesn't have to be when the moon is full in the sky and all that kind of stuff. So was there anything else that you thought of in the process of writing it, but that didn't make the cut?
No. Everything I thought of is in there because I wrote that book pretty fast, and I didn't have time to mess with it. I kind of like that about working on a deadline. For me, it's like, you sometimes you can think about things too much, and then you drive yourself nuts with what to cut and what to keep and what to make bigger. And when I've got a deadline, I just have to trust my instincts pretty much. And with Till Summer Comes Around, I wrote that in 3 months, and it was, everything that I thought of ended up in there, pretty much. I think that Don had me cut a couple of my 80s hair metal references because there are a lot in the book, and there were even more. But it gets a little, it does get a little much if it's like, every page you've got to mention a hair metal band or something. So
no, it's never too much. Never.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really liked about Blood and Rain is all the song references.
Definitely.
Started making a little Spotify playlist just to feature them all.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we should have soundtracks for books.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've got a soundtrack on Spotify. If you look up Until Summer Comes Around, it'll probably bring up Keith Urban's song, which is you guys, I don't know if you know him, he's a country artist, but it's a great song, and I had it in my mind because it's during this whole thing. But I put the soundtrack together too, and I love it. It's like it's so hard for me to create playlists and then actually ones that come out so good that I want to keep listening to them all the time. And when I made the soundtrack on there for Until Summer Comes Around, I listened to it for like 4 months. So
yay.
Is
there any Taylor Swift on
that?
Okay.
Is it my turn? Or is it your turn? It's me.
Cool.
See, we're pros. We know what we're doing.
Oh, totally.
Totally. You guys are killing it.
Yeah. It's like we're naturals.
Definitely.
So when I was reading through Blood and Rain, and like when I read through all books, I tend to think like who would play which character in a film. So as I was reading through, I kind of thought Stan could be Lance Henriksen. He was in my head for Stan. Who would be your picks for each of the main characters?
Just at the time, and it's in the book, I think too. I think maybe it's in that version. I don't know. For Joe, I was thinking. I think his name's Mark Harmon. He's the guy from NCIS, like the lead guy. I was thinking somebody like that. Maybe a little bit younger. Maybe not. I mean, he's getting old. That show's been on forever now. But like, yeah, I was watching. Me and my wife were watching that a lot when I was writing this. So, and I kind of had him in my mind a little bit for Joe. Sonia, I have no idea. I'd really have to think about it. I mean, I don't I'd have to think about that one. Like, I know Joe off the top of my head because I remember thinking that. Like, I just like so many characteristics of Mark Harmon's character on there on NCIS. So I've kind of modeled him a little bit after that in my mind. I don't know.
We
about
were
everyone
talking
else.
about that just. Oh, sorry. We were talking about that just before you came on, and we decided that it would be Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yep. That's who we
Yeah.
both imagined him as,
Yeah.
Hopper. Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopper didn't exist yet when I was writing this, but so he
Yeah.
didn't have a chance.
Fair.
But now, oh yeah, I could see like if they made a movie with him taking that role for sure. That'd be cool. I'd be all for it.
Yeah.
So now you just got to wait
Well,
for the call. I
did
mean,
you
it's
guys
going to
come
happen
up?
any
Did you
moment now
guys
because we recorded it.
right? Yeah, totally. Did you guys come up with any ideas for anyone else, or just talked about Joe?
It was just Joe,
Yeah,
really, wasn't it?
Joe.
Did he? That was just
Yeah.
instant to like
Yeah.
get somebody. That's good. That you can. It's easy to imagine that way. Yeah, I'd have to think about it. And get back to you guys on that on the other characters.
That's
Because
your
it's really
homework.
hard for me.
So
I
next
don't
time we
look
speak to
that
you,
way.
you've got to tell us.
I remember when I talked to John Everson. Remember he pulled his screen around and he had the screenshots of these actresses and actors or whatever that he kind of has to kind of imagine who these people are. But I don't do that, and I've only done it. I've only sat down and thought about characters and actors for Abrams Bridge, and I don't remember. I wrote it down. It's in an interview somewhere, but yeah, to me that would take a lot. It takes a lot of work for me to try to see who's out there that I think would look like this character looks in my mind. I don't know. That's hard for me to do. I don't know why. I know a lot of authors love doing that, but to me, it's like that's like a challenge. It's a fun challenge, but
Also, you quite often draw from personal things with your characters as well. So I imagine, like with Rocky, would that be really difficult for you to try and think of someone to play Rocky because you based quite a lot of him on yourself as a teen?
yeah, it would. Yeah, that's totally personal, and like that's. I think I was just thinking about that the other night writing. I was writing some of the new book last night, and it got diving into personal stuff. Now I always think like, how much more stuff is there? Like after you've written a few books, like, but you just keep stumbling upon things that you thought of or did as a kid or as a teen or young adult, whatever. But yeah, that would probably be difficult. I mean, I'd make him better looking. He's got to be a better looking kid. So
Well, and
that would
November, because she was your neighbour and all that kind of stuff, so that would be hard for you to cast as well, I imagine.
No, I don't even remember. I tried to think about what November looked like as a kid. I just remember her wearing Chuck Taylors and she had dark hair. That's all I remember, really. I mean, because we were friends. I was like 4 or 5, probably 5 or 6 actually. And she lived across from me in the trailer park that I grew up in for just a year and a half, something like that. But that name always stuck with me, and
It's
it's
such a
in
cool name,
my
yeah.
songs and stuff. Yeah.
So we don't have names like November in Britain, do we, Lou? People don't get
boring
called
name.
that. Yeah.
Well, I've only known one November my whole life, so
It is awesome.
it's not that common, I don't think, over here either.
No. So, Lou, when you write, do you have an actor in mind with your characters then? If you do that when you read, do you do it when you write?
I do it when I read, but I don't so much do it when I write. So there's a couple where I do have an actor in mind. Like in my very first book that I wrote, there's a character called Grayson, and I'd been watching like a lot of our authors at the time and a lot of The Last Ship, and I thought John Piper Ferguson was him. But that's like the only time that I've done it.
Okay. See,
I think it's just where
yeah,
if you're watching stuff a lot and that face is just in your head.
definitely. See, I was it's on hold at the moment, but I've been writing a serial killer novella with another writer, and he's actually my character's called Axel.
Oh, nice.
Yes, exactly. But he looks like Dean Winchester in my mind, Jensen Ackles, just because how nice would it be to have a character that looks like Dean Winchester? Hello. But the novella that I've just submitted, one of the main characters is called Cameron. And even though he's a bit younger, he totally is Cameron Chaney. It's everything about the character looks like Cameron. And Cameron loves that. He knows I've based the character on him. He thinks that's amazing.
In Banished, there's a character called Janine who looks...
And is she awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Does she die horribly? Probably.
Do you want to know?
No, I need to be surprised.
No, it's fun. It's a nice, happy story.
As usual. Okay. Lou, I wondered if did you have anything else that you either wanted to ask or things that you wanted to say about the book in particular?
I was just going to say, a little birdie tells me that there is a sequel. And when reading Blood and Rain, it does seem quite open at the end for some new monsters to turn up. So is there anything you can tell us about that?
There is a sequel. It's about halfway finished, I think. It's called Waiting for Darkness, which I usually get. A lot of my titles come from songs, and Waiting for Darkness is a song by Ozzy that's actually the last song on Bark at the Moon. So I thought that was appropriate, that it would come from Bark at the Moon. And I thought it was really cool sounding, and it feels right for the sequel for me. I love what I've got so far, and I don't remember what happened. I'm sure it's always deadlines. It's some other deadline. Like if I didn't sell the book, I don't owe it to anybody. It kind of gets pushed aside for stories I owe to somebody for anthologies or if I have a new book that I'm putting out that's due out one day. Unfortunately, right now, Waiting for Darkness just keeps getting bumped this way and that way. Every time I think I might get it, I've been saying I'm going to put it out for the last 3 years, I think, but which doesn't, that doesn't sound good because, I'm planning on putting it out again next year, but we'll see. I've got to finish up August Eyes, which is my next Flame Tree book, and then I've got to finish Ascension Agenda, which is going to Splatterpunk Books at some point when it's finished. My editor there's been really patient, so after that, the next book project I'm hoping would be Waiting for Darkness. I can finish that up.
It will be, or I'm going to get really mad.
Yeah, it will be. That's what I meant, of course. It will be. Don't kill me again.
No, yeah, exactly.
He's going to set you a deadline.
Yeah, I just got to get these people to stop asking for books from me, and then I can get it done. There's nothing I can really tell you because like I said, when I write anything, it could change, but I have a direction I'm going in with it. I've known I had a dream actually, because I always had the idea that, I left it open at the end. Obviously, there could be a sequel. I didn't have a sequel in mind at the time. I just knew that it was there if I ever felt inspired to go for it. And there was one night, I don't know, I probably had just written Becoming. And then it was after that was the last project I was working on. And I had this dream of who was it? I think Joe in a kitchen or something, and a werewolf coming for him in this kitchen, and I knew that he was going to own the cafe that's in the first book. And in the dream, it was that cafe. It was somewhere in the back, and I might have even put this in this dream sequence might be in that manuscript somewhere. But that was the initial idea, was this beast coming for Joe. And I got up and I started writing that scene down. And then I said, oh, and then it kind of birthed my idea for where this next book would go. And then I started writing, and I wrote what Janine has seen. I wrote that pretty quick. That stuff kind of just poured out. I was on a roll. I don't know why. I really should have just finished it then, because then it would have been done. But
yes, you should have done.
I think sometimes when I'm writing something, and big or small, I get nervous. If I think it's really good, at some point I get nervous that I'm going to ruin it. So sometimes I take a break there and let it rest for a bit, and come back when I'm feeling good about it again. This is one of those stories where I know that happened to me as part of the reason it hasn't been picked back up yet, is because I'm afraid to ruin it. I like what I've got so much right now. I know I won't ruin it, but it's just like that voice that's in the back of the head
nagging in the
screw it up somehow. I do that with short stories too. I mean, I don't know how many short stories I've started, and I really love the beginning, and then I'm like, I'm gonna ruin this. I gotta stop right now. So they're sitting there on my computer. So at some point I'll pull it up, look at it, and if maybe the rest of the story clicks in my brain or it doesn't, whatever, I can just go back if I need to. But yeah, I'm really excited for it when I get back to it and get it finished. Hopefully next year it'll be out by the end of the year.
I'm going to hold you to that.
See,
I'm going to beat you with it otherwise.
It's like a deadline now.
Yeah, definitely.
Saying it on the air, putting it out there in a podcast, now that's got a deadline.
That's it. It has to be done. So had you started Waiting for Darkness when you wrote the short for Leaders of the Pack?
No.
Right.
Yes. No. Yes. No. Wait, I gotta think back. Yeah, no. Yes, I had written, which is that story was really, I love that story, and it was so fun. Right. But it kind of makes me want to go back and rework what I've got for Waiting for Darkness a little bit, As Janine's read it, she knows it's I felt like I discovered something else about Nick in that story, that I said, oh geez, I should beef up some more of his stuff in the beginning of this book. So it might cause me to go back and rework his stuff in the sequel. So I think it will, because he came out so great, I thought, in that short story. That short story was a lot of fun to write.
It's fantastic. I think it's one of my favorite shorts.
Thanks. And it's the I don't remember what the hell it's called, the brother situation or something. What is it? Something like that. And it's a play off Quentin Tarantino's The Bonnie Situation from Pulp Fiction. The title is not the actual scene or anything, but it's definitely. That's it.
The dead brother situation.
The dead brother situation is a play off the Bonnie situation, and it's got a Tarantino feel to it for sure, which was really fun for me because I love Tarantino, but I don't often try to imitate any of my favorite writers. And he's one of my favorite writers, but he's so unique that it's easy to see when someone's trying to write like that.
Yeah.
You tend to want to try to write like yourself, when you're doing your own work. But that one, I definitely wore that Tarantino influence on my sleeve, and I had fun with it. It was a short story, and it came out so good for me that I didn't have a problem with it this one time at least.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you wanted to ask, Lou?
I've done all the ones in my notebook, but what's your writing process like? You said that you knew where the sequel was heading, So do you have like a plan in mind, or do you just make it up as you go along and kind of hope to steer it?
Most of the time, like I've just started outlining things with Flame Tree, just because that's how I work with Don. Is I have to develop an idea, so, and he looks at the outline and he'll hopefully takes it, and I have to deliver on it. But normally, besides these two Flame Tree books, everything else is, I maybe have an idea where it's going, but usually when I start anything, short story, novella, or novel, it's just a scene. It's usually a scene that will kickstart the whole thing. And then, like with Blood and Rain was originally the first chapter with Ben Rowell out on Old Gilson Creek Road or whatever it is. That was a short story that I'd written like in 2004 or something. I'd watched Underworld and I thought, there's not enough werewolf stuff going on in the world right now. Where are all the werewolves?
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, I wasn't reading that much at the time, so there could have been plenty of werewolves out there, but I didn't see a lot and I didn't hear a lot about werewolves. And I always loved like Silver Bullet and stuff. So I wrote that book, wrote that short story, and at the time, I remember even thinking back then that, and I hadn't written anything besides a couple of short stories just for myself in my notebook. I wasn't sending them to anybody. I was just having fun for myself. I remember thinking that this could be a book, but I wasn't a writer. I didn't consider myself a writer at the time. I wrote songs, and a couple of short stories. And that's usually where it starts. It'll start with a scene. And like with that, and same with the Haunted Halls, I wrote the prologue was like a short story that I was writing at work, because I got this idea of walking around the halls in the middle of the night, and that one I also said, well, this feels like it could be something bigger. This could be the beginning of something bigger, and that's kind of how it worked. And then you just go on a journey to find out, well, where is it going? What is happening next? And hopefully you get there. That's kind of how I work. I mean, at the end of it, I'll write. And if you're writing a novel, for me, I tend to bring in a lot of characters, and I think that's from reading so much Stephen King, because he always brings in a bazillion characters, and you feel like the whole community's alive. And that could be tricky because I don't write like Stephen King, because he'll write like a 700-page book, so he can delve into all these backgrounds and bring everyone completely to life. Me, I still like the characters, all these characters being in there, but I like my stories to be faster, So it gets a little tricky for me with that. I like to give just a little bit of background on people. I like to keep the story going and whatever's happening at the main part of the story, and not take you on too many sidetracks throughout. But once you get past that giant middle part of the book, and hopefully you've kept it interesting and everyone locked in and things happening and mysteries building, when I get towards that last section, the last part of the book, I will kind of frame it out in my mind, or I'll get in my notebook and scribble down some ideas of where it could go. I know I did that with the Haunted Halls. I had to come up with this ending, and I just stopped myself before the last part and was like, well, how do I want this to end? I don't want to just blindly walk towards the end with this one. I want to have an idea where I'm going, and that made it a lot easier. But that's kind of what I do with each of the books, except for Becoming. Becoming just happens. What was that wild noise?
Me.
It was the wolves behind me.
Lou, what's going on?
Something's. Oh, I thought something got you. You were gone for a minute.
Have you got a favourite character out of every single thing that you've written? Is there somebody that really sticks with you?
Well, I think Rocky's great,
I knew it was going to be Rocky. Okay, aside from Rocky, because he's obviously based so much on yourself, is there anybody else? Because I love Richie from the window.
Oh, poor Richie.
Poor Richie. And James. I really liked Richie and James.
Yeah, I love James. Yeah, James, and probably for me, Joe. Joe Fisher.
Yeah.
I love Joe Fisher. Just maybe because it's my first big character that I wrote, but him, and Richie. Richie was an interesting. He went through a few different phases. He does it in the book too, but I mean, he had some more stuff going on originally. But
Wow.
yeah. And James, I love James a lot too. James, he's got that. He's got a little bit of that Rocky thing going on too. But yeah, probably Joe for me. And if I had not picked one of those guys, I'd pick Joe. Joe's my favorite character that I've come up with so far. And the name, his original name in the original version was Turk Dungy. All right, I don't even know if that's a real name. So
work. Yeah.
while my friend at Beta Reddit had the idea for the ending change, he also was adamant that I change that Turk Dungy's name because he said all he could think of was Tony Dungy, who's a football coach for the Colts back in the day.
Okay.
He says all I could think of is Tony Dungy, and I hate that guy's face. And plus that name sucks. And so he was telling me, the same guy was my buddy Ben, that actually lives next door to me. He was telling me about a guy, a farmer, where his parents grew up in Sabatis, which is about half an hour, 20 minutes from here, from where I live now. And this guy, he was telling me all these stories about this really prominent, people respected this guy, and he was pretty loud about things, and it was a neighbor to his mom or dad's growing up. It was one of their neighbors, and his name was Joe Fisher. And I said, as soon as he's telling me these stories about that his mom told him or dad told him, and I said, wow. I just stopped him. I said, Joe Fisher. He says, what? I said, Joe Fisher, that's it. That's Turk Dungy's new name is Joe Fisher. He's like,
thank God for that.
Yes, thank God for that. And he was like, yeah, that's way better. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. As soon as I said it, I said, that's it. I know it. It just like clicked, like instantly. That's it.
Yeah.
But Turk Dungy, can you even imagine? I have that manuscript somewhere too, printed out. And it'd be interesting.
I think he needs to have his own short story though, Turk. I feel he's got more of a story to tell.
Turk Dungy. Yep. Oh God, yeah, that just hit me. Oh, we've got a friend.
Oh, is it Axel? I can't see. Yes. Oh.
There he is. It's
Hello.
Axel.
Hi, Axel. He's like, how the hell do you know my name?
Axel, what are you doing? He brought Wicked in here. He bought me. This is an early birthday present he bought me.
Oh, super cute.
My birthday's on the 30th of this month, but he got it for me this week. It came in, so he won. So he's been carrying it around and taking care of him mostly.
Because when you're away.
Well, I'm away?
You're at work.
And I'm at work. Yeah, you have to take care of him.
Oh.
Hey, Daddy, guess what? Me and Mommy finished the one with the Ewoks.
Return of the Jedi?
No, the Stormtrooper one. In the game.
Oh, in the game. Yep.
Yeah, we finished it. It's because they sent 2 ATs.
Okay.
Two of them.
That's not fair.
Yeah, except I blew on one.
Good job.
Oh, he's so cute.
Bought Star Wars Battlefront for the PlayStation 4. So
Awesome.
me and him were playing it, and then him and his sister now play it. So yeah, Ramona's been playing it with him.
Oh,
and Ramona wanted you to say hi to you, Janine.
Oh.
She's mom. I said hi. She's downstairs.
Oh, bless her. When I said, because when Ramona and Ruby came and gave you the kiss goodnight on the video with John, Felicity was like, I want to see that bit. And I was like, well, you can't really watch the video. There's quite a lot of swearing in it. But she managed to find the exact bit when the girls came in and said goodnight. And she was like, there's Ramona.
Rolling along.
So cute.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. You get those guys, those foul-mouthed horror writers together, and they're drinking beer and
I know.
saying naughty words.
Just wait till we talk to Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter's a lot of fun.
He is. We're going to do a round table with Hunter and Tim Meyer and talk about dog soldiers. It's going to be amazing.
Nice. Yeah, they're great guys.
Yeah, they are great guys.
No.
So this has
My
now been
laptop's telling me
bumped
about
up.
10 minutes left. Sorry.
10 minutes left to record.
Yeah.
Okay. Did
Talk
you have
quickly.
anything else that you wanted to ask, Lou? Lou, was there anything else that you wanted to say or ask while we've got Glenn?
It's just a silly thing. When you were writing Blood and Rain, and there's a bit where you have to close the beach, were you thinking of Jaws?
You know what? I don't think so. I wasn't, but now as soon as you said that, it's like it popped in my brain. So I can imagine someone reading it. Yeah, it would pop in their brain. But no, I wasn't. I just thought I was just like, it's too dangerous. These dumb kids are down here partying or trying to hang out. Like they don't get that there's a real beast out here. I guess it's very Jaws like, especially hearing it.
It's Jaws with a werewolf.
Yeah.
That's how I should sell it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Werewolf.
I'm surprised Jans didn't do that with Wolfland.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I can't wait for his Jaws book to come out.
I know, Amity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, definitely.
No, oh my God, he's so in love with that, and he's gonna take. That's got to be his baby, man. That book.
Definitely.
I hope he sells it to somebody big too. So I hope it's. There's a bunch of writers that I think should be putting out books with the big five, and he's certainly one of them. He's been like that for the last couple of years, so.
Yeah.
He's ready for the big time, and hopefully that book is it for him.
Definitely. He is uber talented, definitely. Okay. Was that your last question then, Lou?
Yeah, that's me done.
Yep. Okay. I think I'm done, more or less. Yeah.
You sure?
I mean, I've got loads of things to be able to waffle about when I don't know that we need to do much more actual just talking about it now because we've spoken about way more than I thought we would. Lou and I were joking that yeah, you were going to come on and we were just going to be like, it's Glenn! I've got your notes! Yay!
That's been funny. No, but I love doing these podcasts because they always, like I always tell anyone I have on that I work with, like we'll aim for like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And they're like, yeah, a half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And I'm like I talked to John for almost 3 hours, but I think I was pretty drunk by the time I got done talking to him. But yeah, I tried to watch the end of that video and I'm like, ugh, I could barely say certain words. So I'm like, I definitely had.
You made yourself your own bar. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, and I took June and July off from drinking at all. I didn't have any beer for 2 months, and then when I had John on, I said, well, I know I've got to have some IPAs if I'm talking to John, and IPAs are a lot stronger than regular like Coors Light, Miller Lite, or Pabst, you know. So drinking those IPAs, and one of them was like a 9%, which is like twice as strong as regular beer. So they caught up to me pretty fast that night. But it was fun.
It was made up for the couple of months when you didn't drink.
Yes, it was a great time.
It was. I think my husband wants to come and live in John's basement now.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
It's so awesome. It is so awesome. The basement that Horror built.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic. Let me just have a quick look. Lou, did you have a favourite kill and a saddest kill in Blood and Rain?
Oh, favourite kill. I don't know.
Put you on the spot, didn't I? Should I say?
Yes.
So my favourite kill.
Question.
My favourite kill was Pug. Pug Gettus. He had to get it because I've literally written he was a racist old fuck, and I hated it. I was like, fucking deserve to die. Yep.
No, absolutely. I think he was in the rewrite, so he wasn't in the original version. But as soon as I put him in there, I said, "Oh yeah, he's gonna get it."
He's gone.
He was an old bastard. And then I put the saddest kills were Mel and Shelley. They didn't deserve to die.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. I think my favorite kill was probably I had a lot of fun writing Ted's death in the book.
Yeah. I liked Ted, so I didn't like that kill.
I love Ted. I love Ted. Ted was one of my first favorite characters in the book, and he's one that's got a little more. I write a little bit more about him in the original version, but yeah, that scene when he gets it, I loved writing that. That was fun. It was just fun as a werewolf fan. To me, that's a fun scene.
Definitely.
Even though it's Ted, I love Ted, but
yeah,
I killed a lot of people. So
yeah. There was. I think it said 15 deaths altogether. I think, including Kim and her boyfriend, whose names I can't remember. But
It's fun talking about werewolves. It's a good job they're not real.
one of the co-hosts has died. that's not
He
good.
was attacked by a werewolf.
Okay, right. Well, in that case, have you got anything else that you wanted to add at all about the book, or just anything?
I don't know. Do I? No, I think that's about it with that. I mean, I'm really excited that everyone seemed to like Until Summer Comes Around. So
Definitely.
it's always scary putting out a new book, and I'd self-published Becoming and The Window and Land of Bones in between my last book for a publisher, which was Sinister Grin, which was Chasing Ghosts. So, when a publisher puts out your book, when I put out my own books, I almost don't care. I'm just like, whatever, it's out there, and I hope people like it. If they don't, whatever, But when someone's invested in you, when a publisher's invested in you, it adds that little bit of, I need to sell for them. They put this in me. I need to do, and it's been awesome. Like, I didn't expect it to be as good as it has been, but I always look at my reviews. People, I don't know who doesn't. There are people that say they don't, but I always do. You can learn a lot of things if there's a recurring theme. Like, the thing I hear a lot is that I like a little more backstory. And so with Until Summer Comes Around, I made sure to kind of stretch it out just a little bit, which is not a comfortable thing for me. I like fast and furious, but to slow myself down and like give you a little more behind the scenes with some of the characters. That's something I got from reading my reviews, and I think I was happy with the way it came out, because I did stretch it out just a little bit more, but hopefully just enough to give the people what they wanted, and then continue with my straight ahead thing. So I hope people continue to buy Until Summer Comes Around, and it's a beautiful hardcover. I mean,
It is. It's stuck there. Yeah. Beautiful hardcover. Yeah.
It is. And so I think Ascension Agenda might come out before August Eyes. So August Eyes is set for June right now.
Yeah.
Of next year, if I can get it done in time, which I'm behind at the moment, but I love where it's at, so I'm confident I'll get it there. And I know, being that we're in a
pandemic, to Don, and Don's going to be sat doing this. Come on, get on with it.
No, being that it's a pandemic, I think I can get an extra few weeks if I need it. But and Don's good like that. I mean, with Until Summer Comes Around, he gave me a couple extra weeks with that one too. So, I love where it's at right now, and I'm in that mind that the voice in the back of the head is saying, "You're gonna fuck it up. You're gonna fuck it up." But I'm like,
no!
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. I know what I'm doing. So,
definitely, yeah.
Well, that helps too. With like I said, with Dawn, I have the outline, so I know I've got key things I've got to get to, and that's really been helpful. I mean, I like outlining. I thought I was going to hate it, but I love it, especially in this process where you can get to a point where you're intimidated by what you've done already, or you're nervous, or you think you're lost. You're never really lost, because you can just, well, how do I get to that next point? You know what I mean? And that's really cool. So awesome. Hopefully.
Oh, here she is.
Hey, you're back.
Hello. We were just saying you're going to have to cut something in to make it look like a wolf came in and tore your away.
Yeah, my screen's like,
Oh, is that a Jason Voorhees mask behind you now?
it is, yes.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Glenn, for chatting to us when it's quite early over there. Really, really appreciate it.
Helped me get out of bed this morning, so that was good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very, very much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.